Today I'm going to be making an easy recipe for pickled jalapeños, also known as jalapeños en escabeche. This is something I do that is quick and easy. You can add extra seasonings and spices to make it your own, but this is something I do in a pinch. So today I'm going to be making pickled jalapeños. Here I have 10 jalapeños. I also have my cleaned jar here. I'm going to be using a half cup of distilled white vinegar, a half cup of water, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 clove of garlic that I sort of pressed, a small piece of onion, it's like 3 little small pieces, and I have just half of a medium-sized carrot that I cut into these little round coins. So I'm going to start slicing up my jalapeños. I'm going to put some gloves on, by the way. This is a spicy situation, and I will be back. Okay, so here I have a medium-sized to small pot that I'm working with. To that I'm going to add maybe a tablespoon and a half of oil. I'm going to let that preheat for a second there. Okay, so once it's preheated, I am going to add my pieces of onion, my carrots, and my garlic. And if you guys hear a lawnmower, that's my neighbor. So I'm just going to saute this for, I don't know, less than a minute. You sort of want to get the flavors of the onion and the garlic, and you know, the carrot, I'm just giving it a head start to soften a bit by the time I, pickle it with the liquid. But you'll want to do this for about a minute. And I am using a smaller burner on a medium heat. If you're using a larger burner, maybe medium to medium low. You don't want to burn anything. Okay, now I'm going to add my water. I'm going to add my vinegar, my salt, and my sugar. Let's give that a mix. And this is pretty much going to be the pickling liquid or the brine for the jalapeños. So now I'm going to add my sliced jalapeños. I slice them into rings. You could possibly just have them or do strips. I've seen my grandfather did this a lot when I was growing up. He would just leave them whole. Okay, so once it starts to gently simmer, I'm going to cover it with the lid, and I'm just going to let this gently simmer for about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, I'm shutting the heat off. It has been about one minute, 1.5 minutes, and I'm going to give that a mix. And as you can see, it still has a little bit of bright green. It did start to, cook a bit, and that's really all you want. You don't want to overcook this because it will continue to pickle and brine when you store it in your container. So the heat is off, and I'm just going to give this a mix. Some of them didn't get into the liquid. But basically now I'm just going to let this hang out for another minute and then store it in my jar. You could also use just a glass storage container, and I am not going to seal this and can it. I'm actually just going to store it in a cleaned glass jar and put it in my refrigerator. One thing that I did not mention is before you add the jalapeños, when you're sauteing the onion and garlic and you add the water, vinegar, salt, and sugar, you'll want to taste your pickling liquid for seasoning or flavor. You might find that you want a little more salt or you want a little more sugar to balance out the vinegar. But anyways, this liquid, I am going to actually, let's see here if I can show you. I'm going to strain it through a wire mesh strainer to just remove any of the excess seeds. Then I'm going to pour it into my jar. I'm going to go in with our liquid. And I tasted this liquid. Whew, it's got heat. It's got definitely a kick to it. So now you'll just want to pour your liquid into your jar. And the longer that your jalapeños sort of set and just kind of marinate in that pickling liquid, it will render more liquid. And this recipe, you can definitely do the same exact recipe using just carrots. If you like pickled carrots, and maybe add 1 jalapeno to give it a little bit of heat. I do that all the time. My grandfather would literally add cauliflower, carrots, you know, more onion, more garlic. He would pickle garlic, carrots, and onion with serrano peppers sometimes. I mean, you can do the combo and ratios of your choice. The only other thing I did differently than what my grandfather does is I did not add bay leaf. I do find when I make larger batches, like maybe double or triple of what I made today, I like to add 1 bay leaf. But to this amount, sometimes I find the bay leaf overpowering. I probably could have tossed in a bay leaf while I was just kind of simmering the liquid and just remove it. So that is, you know, something I'll list in the ingredient list should you want to try it. But I find when I add a bay leaf to this amount, I don't know, it just kind of overpowers it. But it's still good. This is still a good recipe without the bay leaf. The other day, by the way, I made a queso blanco, and I love eating it with the pickled jalapenos. So I'll link the queso blanco recipe video somewhere here throughout the video or at the end. But yeah, this is it. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.